Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 42 of our All the Mods 9 to the Sky Let's Play series. Where today we are getting back into Mekanism and working on starting our Fissile Fuel production chain, as you can see there. Let's get started. Welcome back, my friends, to another wonderful day here in the world of TheAndrata, where, well, we've got a lot to do in the next 20 or so minutes to try and work towards getting ourselves into Mekanism Fission Reactor. Fission. Fusion is the one that requires the pew 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 in the cubey thingy, the round cube, which doesn't make any sense. But anyway, fission reactor is what we're going to work on getting ourselves. And we got to get to fissile fuel and all that good stuff. So time to dive on in. In between episodes, I went ahead and, first off, figured out all the stuff that we need. This makes sense to me, may not make sense to you, but we work backwards essentially from here, from the plutonium, which is what we need to get. And then we can work our way backwards all the way to the beginning of what we're going to need for the most part to get all of this done. And in order to do this, I went ahead and taught the system how to make a whole bunch of things. And I think this time I've always used XNet to manage this and everything because it's clean and efficient. But I recently saw Chosen Architect use quantum entangleporters for it. And I'm like, you know what? That kind of seems like a pretty decent idea to use a quantum entangleporter to move around the liquids and the gases and stuff. Because, I mean, XNet does have the ability to move gases. But let's try something new, right? I saw him do it. I want to do it too, whatever. So I think setting it up over here maybe, or over, I think over here would be good. And then we could have the fission reactor chill out over here and hopefully not explode on us or something like that. We'll see. But I think over here is going to be a decent area for us to get the fissile fuel production going. And the nice thing is we are going to need some applied energistics, but I don't think we're going to need terribly too much of this. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll see where we end up with this and everything. We are going to need some because we're going to need to export like fluorite, and we're going to need to get yellow or the uranium and stuff, which speaking of, was TheAndrata smart? TheAndrata was smart. I went ahead and made fluorite seeds already and I made the essence so that we have that going. And so we don't have to worry about the essence. What about uranium? Did I do that ahead of time too? Man, look at me. I planned for that. I must have put them over here. I don't even remember doing this, but I must have done it at some point or in one of those. Yeah, look, there's uranium. There's sulfur. There's fluorite. Man, I was ahead of the schedule, ahead of the curve. I was thinking ahead a while ago. Anyway, so I have the essences, which is great. So we can craft all those different things. So we don't have to worry about all that part, at least. So let's dive on in. So our major goal here is to get ourselves plutonium. Now, plutonium is going to come from a PRC, a pressurized reaction chamber, mixing plutonium and some sort of water, along with some fluorite dust. And we get plutonium pellets and some nuclear waste. We'll worry about that part later. That's our goal. And in order to get fluorite dust, that's just crushing fluorite. Not too big of a deal there. In order to get to that plutonium, the liquid, we are going to need to get an isotopic centrifuge, taking nuclear waste, centrifuging it into plutonium. And the nuclear waste comes from a Mekanism fission reactor. Okay, great. In order to use a fission reactor, we have to get what we call fissile fuel. It is the fuel for the reactor. It's fission fuel. And this comes from an isotopic centrifuge making uranium hexafluoride. Okay. Uranium hexafluoride is made in a chemical infuser by infusing hydrofluoric acid and uranium oxide. Uranium oxide is made by chemical oxidizing yellow cake uranium, and then yellow cake uranium is made by enriching uranium. That one's pretty simple. This other side of things, the hydrofluoric acid chain, is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So hydrofluoric acid is made in a chemical dissolution chamber with fluorite and sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid comes from chemically infusing sulfur trioxide in water vapor. Water vapor is easy. That is decondensating water. So we just put water into this. It'll turn into water vapor. That part's easy. Sulfur trioxide comes from oxygen and sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide comes from sulfur dust chemically oxidized into sulfur dioxide. And oxygen comes from electrolytically separating water into hydrogen and oxygen. You got all that? You good? Everybody understands? So 100% we know what we're doing? No, because we generally do pretty good with this setup and everything, but it is a lot. It's a long chain and it can be confusing. So we generally want to just take it one step at a time and work our way like forwards and backwards. I don't know. Forwards really is where we're going to go. So I also have on here that I'm going to need to get substrate at some point from Mekanism. This is going to be required later on when we need to get HDPE pellets to make HDPE sheets, which is going to be required for like when we get into the solar neutron activator, which we're going to need to make polonium and stuff like that. So it's on my to-do list, but it's not 100% necessary for us to do right now. We don't need HDPE sheets at the moment for this process, but it's there just for, remembering sakes. Anyway, so our first major goal, we need to get that oxygen, right? Let's get oxygen and start working towards that sulfur dioxide, okay? So in order to get oxygen, we are going to need to get ourselves an electrolytic separator, which I have ready to go. Now, the electrolytic separator, I'm going to forewarn you now, electrolytic separators are extremely power hungry. They will take all the power you give them and create a ton of stuff. It can be a little bit much, so make sure that you have power generation going. I am going to use ender gates on all of these, and we're just going to plop them in the front of all of the machines. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's get max power into these as much as they can, as fast as they can, so we don't have to worry about it, okay? So the electrolytic separator is going to need just simply water, and I have water in our AE system. However, I don't want that water. I didn't think about the water portion of things, actually. I'd like to get water into a quantum entangler. I'm trying to think my best way to do that is probably to just, I'll just go into my black hole, set up a sink, and then have, you know what? This would be a great time for us to do the other thing that I wanted to do with the integrated dynamics and try and figure that out. But I don't have a lot of time in this episode. What do we do? Oh, right now I'm getting a quantum entangler porter. So we have a sink, we have a quantum entangler porter. Do I want to do, okay, so integrated dynamics, right? I was looking at doing a fluid reader, reads fluid tanks. That would read this, right? Let's grab one of those. And then I need a fluid, attaches a fluid tank to the network. Do I need that? And then I need a variable card. And then I need a logic cable to sit between these or so. Something like that. All right, let's see if this works. This will be actually pretty crazy if it does. How I want it to. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our configuration card, and we're going to, that's you. Get rid of all of your configs there. And we're going to set this as water. I don't know why I do inputs on these. It's a leftover habit from, I think, Enigmatica 6, where I had to have inputs, and then I needed outputs from quantum entangler porters to other things, and I wanted the buffer in my system, but I really don't. It's not a big deal right now. So we're going to go fluids, and that's going to be an input. And you know what? Well, actually, we're going to set the input to the top of this. And then we'll get our fluid reader. So that should be able to read from here, correct? And then a fluid interface will interface to here. And then cables to connect it. And then if I say, is the fluid reader not the thing that I would need? Fluid importer. That's the one that I need. Okay. Instead of the fluid reader, the reader is just reading how much fluid is in a tank. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's literally in the name. I want a fluid importer. So let's get the fluid importer now. And that should input into the network, which is there. So fluid importer. So if I come in here and I just say import all fluids and I put that in there, that gives it a true. So this should now be filling up with water. Where it comes in crazy, though, is if we come into here and we change it to its fluid transfer rate. It's currently at 1 bucket. If we go 999999999 until it gives me the X, and then you just back off, and then you're good to go. It will transfer literally at max. Look, you saw the sink for the first time ever was empty. That's ridiculous. This was empty. Anyway, this is now completely full with 256 buckets of water, and it will transfer immediately. Max int water coming into this quantum entangler porter. Cool. That's the system that we're going to use for our fission reactor, by the way. We'll just use this exact same setup to get as much water into the fission reactor as we can, and we never have to worry about heat and all that stuff. Really handy if you have a turbine and you're going to use it for power generation too. Anyway, so now we have water coming into a quantum entangler, so we can come over here to our electrolytic separator. And again, as always is the case, the TheAndrata is going to come in here and turn off the input of everything. Energy can remain inputting from the front, though. Then we're going to grab our quantum entangler. And this time we're going to have two of them. One will chill here, one will chill here. Reset, reset. Okay. And then we're going to have one in the back of this for the water. Notice I made 64 of these so that we had enough. In you. Okay, so you are going to be set onto the water channel, which is a fluid, and in the front of you, you're going to auto output. The nice thing with Mekanism is it can auto output. Can't auto input, but it can auto output, or it can't pull from anything. But this is going to push the water into our electrolytic separator. So we're going to come in up here, and we're going to say on the back, go ahead and input. And if everything is hunky-dory, we should get water. Yes. Oh, because this is not actually the back. I said output, not the front. That's the front. Okay. The machine got turned. And you're going to notice everything's running. We're full of water. We have hydrogen and we have oxygen being created. Bada bing, bada boom. We're doing pretty good. We are going to go into here and go to, we're going to go to Mechanism, and we're going to turn this sound off because we don't like that sound. By the way, if you don't have Extreme Sound Muffler in the pack, there is the muffling upgrades from Mechanism, which will also lower the noise for you. But Extreme Sound Muffler works great. So we have hydrogen and we have oxygen being created. Now, oxygen is what we need. Hydrogen, we don't need so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to set this to the hydrogen channel. And we're going to allow this is a gas, and it's going to input from the right. Okay. And then it's going to come over here. We're going to check our colors. This is dark blue. This is cyan. So we're going to come over here to our gases. We're going to turn off auto eject for a moment just to make sure that we get the right gas going into here. And we're going to say, okay, see, because this has the cyan and the dark blue, I want dark blue to output to the left machine, auto eject, and it should have just dumped all of that hydrogen over into our quantum entangler. Great. We're also going to come over here and we're going to say dump excess. So what's going to happen is it's going to fill up this, and then it'll fill up its internal buffer, and then anything else gets created will just get destroyed. We care about oxygen, not hydrogen, so we'll store some and then get rid of the rest. Over here, we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to go to our gases. We're going to output to the right, and then over here, we'll go ahead and call this oxygen, and we will allow input from the left. And we should be getting oxygen inside of here, and our electrolytic separator is going to be happy. And then we can go ahead and I'm not going to put upgrades in here now, but we're going to go ahead and request like a lot of these because we have a lot of machines that we're going to be needing. So we'll just go ahead and at Mechanism upgrades, energy upgrades. We're just going to request a bunch of these. We have the resources for it, so we'll just grab it. And then that way, when we come back to this, we're good to go. Okay, so electrolytic separator, oxygen being created, that takes care of our first part. Now we need to get sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is going to be created with sulfur dust inside of a chemical oxidizer, and we're going to combine that with our oxygen to make... Honestly, I lost it now. I didn't mean to clear the oxygen off. So that is going to be making sulfur trioxide. Yes. So the sulfur trioxide and the sulfur dioxide are going to make sulfur trioxide. So we have the oxygen. Now we need to make sulfur trioxide, and that's going to go into a chemical infuser. Yes. Okay. So my next goal is the sulfur dioxide. I don't know why I have water bookmarked there for now, but it's okay. Or maybe the water was for the electrolytic separator. There we go. It's because I can't have more than one of whatever item it is. So my next goal is to get my sulfur dust, and I need to get sulfur dioxide. In order to get the sulfur dioxide, I'm going to need a chemical oxidizer. So let's grab one of those guys. Chemical oxidizer. Okay. Chemical oxidizer can go ahead and say here. And the nice thing is, because these are all configured to only input output to where they're at, I don't have to worry about extra stuff coming inside of them. We'll go ahead and clear all of your config. And you need to get yourself some sulfur dust, my friend. How are we going to get sulfur dust into you? Well, sulfur dust is made by just crushing up sulfur, right? No, I have sulfur dust. Pulverizing sulfur. I can't throw that into a crusher. It has to be in a pulverizer. Sir, are you... Okay. We have sulfur essence, though, so I might as well just do that. Yeah? Okay. So sulfur dust. Let's go ahead and teach the system to do that with the essence then. I know I have some like sulfur, so I was like, oh, what's the best way to get... Yeah, just forget it. We'll just dust it up and we'll be good. So what I want to do is get essence imported into here. Now, sulfur dust, are you used for any other of the machines? I could have AE just push this in, or I can put it into a quantum entangler porter like we have with everything else. You make gunpowder, you make sulfur dioxide. So it looks like having it pushed in with AE might be the easiest option. And then I can just and then have a exporter set up right onto this guy here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some cables. And we'll get an exporter. And we'll go ahead and, yeah, export bus is fine. But then do we want to upgrade it to the advanced? Make it a little faster? No, not you. We'll find out. Export bus. You're going to chill on the back there. And you are going to export sulfur dust. We're going to need a crafting card. And at this point, sorry. Where is that? It's not the extended export bus is what it's called. It's faster. That's the biggest thing, is that it by itself operates 8 times faster. And then I put the upgrades in there. It's even faster than that. So we'll go ahead and use the extended export bus. But we're going to want a crafting card. And we're going to want acceleration upgrades. Keep them on hand, please. Okay. So export bus, crafting card, acceleration with sulfur dust. There we go. And yeah, should be everything we need other than hooking the cable back up. So then over here, we're going to say on the back where that is, you can go ahead and input the items. And so it should just start putting sulfur dust into here for us automatically. And then we can go ahead and integrate that to power it. Except we can't power it from the front. So I might have to do this from the bottom. I want to let me put the center gate on there. Are you only going to allow power from here? No, it won't let me put this ender gate anywhere. Why won't this machine allow me to power it? Chemical oxidizer, you're making no sense to me right now. Still won't let me power it. Are these not working? No, they are. I was like, is there something funky about my ender gates? No, it literally will not allow me to put power anywhere. All right, chemical oxidizer, where do you... Oh, TheAndrata, you're so dumb. Oh, my goodness. I wiped the machine out, didn't I? Yeah. I always forget. I want to leave the energy channel. Energy channel is fine. Get your energy. Okay, there we go. A little bit of a snafu, but we make it work. Okay. All right, so we have sulfur dioxide being made in our chemical oxidizer, and it is now getting the power that it needs. That was the TheAndrata derp there going on. So with this, we only get one output, so I could theoretically put a quantum entangler porter on the top of it and let it output to the top. This is expandable, so if I wanted to create another layer of this, I absolutely could. So I think we'll just put it on the side. And then if I need to make it go faster, I just add another set of them. Because everything's going into the quantum entangler porters, it should be fairly simple to do. So we go clear this out. we're going to go ahead and say, hey, I want you to output your gas to the right and auto eject. And then you're going to come over here, and this is sulfur dioxide, diox. And you're going to input from the left, and now we get sulfur dioxide in here. Yes? Are you a liquid? That might be a fluid. Nope, it's a gas. Output. Oh, auto eject. I must have turned that off. Okay. So it can get cleared, but now sulfur dioxide's in here. Okay. Done. Now our next major goal is to work on getting sulfur trioxide. Sulfur trioxide is going to be made by combining oxygen and sulfur dioxide, both of which we have inside of a chemical infuser. So let's grab our chemical infuser. And we kind of don't have the room for this here, so we can move over to this side now. So we're going to go ahead and get our chemical infuser and 2 quantum entangler-porters. One there. Bing, bang, bang. There we go. And with that, we should now be able to get our chemical infuser operating. The chemical infuser was going to require oxygen, so we're going to say on the red, let's clear you out. Keep the energy channel, though. On the red side for the chemical infuser, we will input the oxygen. And on the orange side, we will input the sulfur dioxide. So we will go ahead and set this to the oxygen channel. And we're going to go to gases to the right. Output auto. So we should now have oxygen in here. Same thing on this side, but this is going to be the sulfur dioxide channel. We're going to go input, but this time we'll go to the left and auto eject, and we should end up with sulfur trioxide coming out of here. Perfect. We'll go to the back of this one, grab another quantum entangler-porter, pop them down, and we can go ahead and say configure. Over here, you're going to output gas to the back, auto eject, and then you're going to be an input. This is sulfur trioxide. So what did I call that? Sulf diox. So this will be sulf triox. And you are going to input the gas. This is from your front. So you're going to allow input to your front. And we now have sulfur trioxide in this quantum entangler-porter. Get in there. We're making our way downtown. Okay. Now, with the sulfur trioxide, we can go ahead and start working towards our next goal, which is converting the sulfur trioxide into sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is made in a chemical infuser, just like we have here, but we need to get water vapor. And if you remember, water vapor was very simple. All we have to do is get a rotary condensator and spin the water around so that it gets fast enough that it, turns into vapor. Heat it up. So the rotary condensator, this guy can go ahead and sit. We're going to run out of room over in this area, aren't we? We're going to end up having to expand over here. I kind of like it going in this direction, though, so it's like a chain. Rotary condensator, you're going to sit yourself right here, back and top, I guess. Rotary condensator, you're going to sit there. In the back of you, we are going to output something. Let's get some quantum entangler-porters. You know what? We could honestly have this dump straight into the next machine. Yeah, so we just have water input into the back, because I don't need the water vapor for anything else. So we can have the water just dump straight into the next machine, and then I don't have to worry about water vapor going into a quantum entangler-porter. Okay, so the rotary condensator, you are going to get a side config of clear, gases, clear, fluids, clear. But from the back, you will be an input. And your input is going to be here on the water channel. And you should have been cleared. Thank you, sir. You are going to be water channel. And on the front, you will output auto-magically, which will kick this guy on, maybe. Yeah, output to the front, the water channel. You have water. You need water. Do I need to switch modes? Ah, yes, switch modes. Toggle your operation so that it's taking the water over into this mode. It's decondensating instead of condensating. See? So now we have water vapor coming out of this guy. And that water vapor is just going to immediately come over here because we are working on making sulfuric acid. So that'll just come straight over into the side inside of a chemical infuser. So let's grab a chemical infuser. Bam. And power this bad boy up. So the chemical infuser is going to get its water vapor in from the side. Now, when we look inside of here, it says it needs to be on the right. It doesn't. It can be on either side. It really doesn't make a difference. So we'll go ahead and set the water vapor to come in. Now, we could just, for the sake of following the following JEI, we could have it come into the right. It's really not that big of a deal. But we'll have it. It's just going to come right over here. So we're going to say the orange channel is going to be an input of gas. So it's going to come in through this side, but it's going to end up on that side of our machine. Does that make sense? We're kind of flip-flopping the two. It's going to then make the sulfuric acid go on the wrong side, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, just pointing that out. So we're going to go ahead and output to the right, and we should now be getting water vapor showing up on this side. So we take another quantum entangloporter, pop it here, clear it, and we can go ahead and call this sulf acid. This guy is going to get gas. I'm sorry, this is not sulfuric acid yet. This is sulfur trioxide. Apologies. Gases output to the left, and then this guy is going to go from this side. It's going to be an input, but on the red. Now we'll get sulfuric acid. Pop into the back again, grab another quantum entangloporter. Clear out its config. And then now you are going to be the sulfur acid, the sulfuric acid channel. So you are going to output your output to the back, auto eject, and then you will allow gases to come from, that's your top, but you allow gases to come there, and we now have sulfuric acid in the system. Okay, that is half of our setup. We still got a bit more to do, but we've already burnt through the 20 minutes that I mentioned. We're at about 30 minutes now. So next episode, we will come back and we will continue this process to getting ourselves to the fissile fuel. And then from there, we'll start working on setting up our fusion reactor. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. I like this setup. Pretty simple. The quantum entangloporters are handy and everything. The nice thing with the quantum entangloporters too is they have a buffer. I think it's like 512 buckets. So they'll hold some of those liquids inside of them in the machine. So we have buffers going on, which I like to have buffers in case things happen. So yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. Next episode, we'll come back and finish this process off. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.